For the family, ain't nothing I wouldn't do. And they know what I'm going no matter who. Stairs vacant, I'm plotting my next move. Shot my niggas is getting this stacking blue. Tell them watch for the jackets and undercovers. All the snitches and bitches that say they like it. Not a trapper, I die, but it wasn't me. Streets will snatch had you on somebody's teeth. Shot my nigga, they left him for dead. Hard to kill them, we come for revenge. Told himself it won't happen again. 40 caliber, one in the head. Let them curses come blessings instead. Ain't no waters that I couldn't tread. You end up if your brothers ain't fed. At the table, we breaking the bread, yeah. Crown royal, I don't chase it. She ain't loyal, I replace it. Try and play me like I'm basic. I see clearly like LASIK. If it's a challenge, I embrace it. Don't test me, then I ace it. Show my mental in, watch me lace it. Lawless going crazy. I sit a law of vendettas. Prove y'all wrong, my pleasure. Enemies use all measures, yeah. If you knew better, do better. Follow my lead, trendsetter. We certified go-getters, yeah. Me and my niggas. We don't talk shit, talk business, yeah. Ride to the finish. Only one try, we giving, yeah. One hand winning. Don't smoke to the sky, no ceilings, yeah. I'll be there in a minute. The pedal to the floor, we living, yeah. Drawbacks is a small cause for the dream, yeah. Fall back, never fall off, I've been scheming. All facts, we been long gone from the scene, yeah. Cooking up beam, yeah. Serving up fiends, yeah. Money machine, yeah. Building up steam, yeah. Talking, I seen that. Not on that screen, yeah. Nubian queen, yeah. All of my DM, what it's gonna be, yeah. Yeah. I sit a law of vendettas. Prove y'all wrong, my pleasure. Enemies use all measures, yeah. If you knew better, do better. Follow my lead, trendsetter. We certified go-getters, yeah. Me and my niggas. We don't talk shit, talk business, yeah. Ride to the finish. Only one try, we giving, yeah. One hand winning. Don't smoke to the sky, no ceilings, yeah. I'll be there in a minute. The pedal to the floor, we living, yeah. Me and my niggas. We don't talk shit, talk business, yeah. Ride to the finish. Only one try, we giving, yeah. One hand winning. Don't smoke to the sky, no ceilings, yeah. I'll be there in a minute. The pedal to the floor, we living, yeah. Better late than never, I suppose. I've been sleeping on this gold. Now I'm woken, boy, I'm fucking on it. Pulling shit together with my bro. Yeah, he keep me on my toes. So we cooking cause we fucking hungry. She just want a nigga with some goals. But this world so fucking cold. When she find love, won't know how to hold it. I've been feeling anxious on the low. I just leave it to the most. Life's a gamble and we never folding. Better yet, I welcome every wager and he take us from a line. Watch me make your money mine. Someone told me time is money, but see really that's a lie. Cause that dollar I can get it back with seconds they go by. But don't get it twisted, I'm with it if it's by the check. I need compensation and all deposits.
Excuse me. Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Uninformed Fan. I apologize about that. Jeffrey just had me choking on something quite literally a few seconds earlier.
Pause.
And we don't do pause anymore. That's like saying not. That's like saying not. Anyway, welcome to Hump Day, the Uninformed Fan. We got a good show for you today. We're going to dive into a little bit of the NFL action, some of the drama going on. The College World Series is again heating up. Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins might be looking to go to the same spot, and Tyreek Hill is performing his best Will Smith. Jeffrey, how are we doing on this Hump Day?
I'm doing great. The weather's not great outside, and I just remembered I got to talk a little bit lower because I was just told by my wife that she's hopping on a meeting and that I need to lower my voice because it carries, which is not really my fault, you know. As Lady Gaga said, I was born this way. You know, I came out of the womb with a loud voice.
You know, I think the bigger issue that we're going to perceive here is the home layout and how we're going to get this stuff accomplished to be able to have a conducive office environment for your wife, but then a conducive broadcast spot for yourself.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. However, as you know, everything that comes with a house, it's a work in progress. Mm-hmm. So I am going to build a wall, right? So basically now when you walk into our home, our beautiful home that we have just purchased, there's a beautiful, nice foyer, right?
Foyer.
But, that's where the dining room table is supposed to sit. But it's a very large space. So I want to build a wall to cut out to have dining room on one side. We'll have her office on the other side. Maybe I could do the podcast down there if she's not working from home. And then some, nice French doors to encapsulate that space as well too, and really just block it off. But as you know, it takes time. These things take time. Can't just do it overnight.
Interesting that this. First of all, do you eat at the formal dining room table?
Yeah.
Really? I love it, dude. You're holding on to the traditional American dream that has been gone by the wayside for some time now. The formal dining room is almost obsolete out of all new homes.
They say that the nuclear family is, the key to success in life, and so I'm just really trying to.
Maybe that's why I'm in shambles.
Bring that home with, we try to eat there when we're all here as a family. Everybody sits around. Everybody's got to sit down and eat their food. Tell a little story about your day, and we go through the whole thing. And yeah.
How often is that? Out of 7 days a week, how often do you get the whole family together?
2 or 3 maybe. Because I work nights, so it's like, it's really tough. So on those nights that I'm home, it's what's going on in school. What are you struggling with in school? So on and so forth. So
I always like that about the Italians, the Sunday dinner. I always respected that.
No, it's great, especially on Sundays too. If you can get Sundays off and you don't have to work, and you're able to be home, watch some Sunday night football and chill and relax. But today should be a good day. I'm excited. We have an outing at work today, over at Splitsville, at 6:30 tonight. So excited to go hit Disney Springs. But before that,
I'm sorry, you're doing what there?
We have a work outing
for the JW.
Correct.
Well, I didn't know if this was a c'est la vie for the boathouse or not.
No. So Boathouse is no longer employed.
I know. I didn't know if there was a send off or.
No, there's no soiree. There's no nothing. I posted the Dave Chappelle. Is it GIF or GIF? I don't know what it is. On our Facebook forum of Dave Chappelle when he got done with SNL, he throws the mic, and that was it. And that was my goodbye. See you later. It was fun. But speaking of Boathouse, so the plan is we're going to go try to play some golf. The weather's a little bit sketchy today. We're going to try to get out, get some holes in. We'll see what happens. We're going to hit Splitsville around 6:30. Party ends at 8:30 at Splitsville. At 8:45, catch me for the first time in the history of the Boathouse at Captain's Bar, having a beverage, enjoying some oysters.
Congratulations. You
want to come out, Tyson Thomas? Let us know.
I have it.
We'll be involved and around. Is that past your bedtime?
I have an absolute day from hell today, so I'll be
What's going on with your day?
I don't want to talk about it. I'll just be looking to get through it. Let's just say that.
Okay. Well,
all right.
I hope your day gets better, and I hope that this podcast is the ray of sunshine that you're looking for to really kickstart this and get this day going.
I'll tell you one little piece of light that just come through is Marcus Buffington, who is in YouTube right now. Finally, it's here. I've been waiting all week for Gap Wedge Wednesday. Legit best inside info I've heard consistently. CCBs are crazy good. I'm hooked. Let's LFG and looking sharp, Jeffrey. What's CCB?
Buff, you off today? Bud?
What's CCBs? Country Club Boys.
Club Boys. Yeah,
that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to get into that. We're going to get into Gap Wedge Wednesday here. Did you see? Oh, speaking of which, did you see that Lonzo Ball, right, who's now with the Chicago Bulls? Yeah. That the doctors the doctors have come out and said that they feel this injury was caused by his shoes, by the big baller shoes.
I mean, sure. I don't know how you derive that from that. If I go out and play barefoot, is that the cause?
I wouldn't recommend that.
Why? Who cares?
Where are you going to play barefoot at, first of all?
You think people in third world countries who can't afford shoes are out there not balling?
Do you think that they're playing up to your standards, Jeffrey? G League quality, cutting moves, breaking ankles? Do you think that that's happening over there? I don't think so.
What was that movie with Kevin Bacon where he went over to Africa?
I have no idea, dude.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, the only time that I think about that is I think about the movie Airplane when they were in the Peace Corps and they're going over there showing how to play basketball and they turned into the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh God, what was the movie? Jeremy, I see you typing. I know you got it. The Air Up There. That's what it was. It was an amazing movie. Kevin Bacon goes over, finds this prospect over there, brings him back over to the States, goes crazy. One of those movies. But it was a long time ago. That was a great flick. Shout out to Kevin Bacon. 6 Degrees.
So potentially awesome. He's been absolutely quite a bust over the league, especially with the injuries. But let's get into it. The NBA draft. The teams are reloading. They're revamping. They're looking forward to the future. It's always a fun time when you think about your team and the prospects that they can get. If you're inside the top 5, if you're outside of the top 5, you really just don't care. And that's where I'm at with the Chicago Bulls. I just really don't care. The NBA, to me, is not a draft-heavy type league. It's more of a highly developmental league. Outside of the complete superstar prodigies that you get every so once in a while. If you're lucky to have the number 1 pick, just as in hockey as the Chicago Blackhawks do, and now the San Antonio Spurs do, you get that once-in-a-lifetime type prodigy. But outside of that, you are going to have a little bit more of a developmental, especially if you get Jokic in the second round, because second-round picks mean nothing, according to my wonderful co-host. But I know you're excited about this NBA draft. A local kid, I think, that you wanted to talk about here. So I'm going to turn it over to you and your wonderful expertise on the NBA.
So you said you're not excited for the Bulls draft pick?
Never. No.
Do you know where they picked this year?
Not in the first round.
They don't. Why is that?
You know exactly why. If you want to start off the show like this, then we can bring in the Bad Burrito Boys right now, and we can start the Gap Wedge Wednesday segment, and I can go get along with my wonderful day from hell.
The Magic own the 11th pick from the Chicago Bulls in the Nikolai Vucevic trade. So Magic do have pick 6 and 11. It'll be very interesting to see where they go here. In my opinion, the two things the Magic need, they need shooting, they need rim protection. We'll see if they can accomplish it. I think they could accomplish it actually by moving back in this draft, and we'll see if there's any value for them to be able to do that. As far as the draft goes, you mentioned Victor Wembanyama, obviously. What we are considering a generational talent at 7'4" in the body of a 6'2" shooting guard, a guy with touch, a guy who can handle the ball, a guy who actually blocked more shots, I believe, by quite a margin than Rudy Gobert did in the same league. So you're talking about Rudy Gobert, an all-defensive player of the year. They think Wembanyama can eventually get to that point. Obviously, he needs to put on some weight. I watched the first pitch yesterday for the Yankee game. Maybe not the best thrower, but as long as he can handle a basketball and throw that's really all that we care about, right? Moving on, you're going to have, the draft is going to kind of play itself out, I feel like, but it will be interesting to see where some of these guys go. Brandon Miller from Alabama for the Charlotte Hornets. It's very interesting because a lot of these kids are all under the age of 20 years old. So you are talking about guys who are very young, but who are extremely skilled. You got the Thompson twins. Where are they going to go? Scoot Henderson, they're saying, is the next Russell Westbrook in terms of a downhill guy. Struggles to shoot a little bit. Athleticism off the charts. Personally, for me, where I would love to see the Magic go is this kid, Taylor Hendricks, 6'9" kid. Wasn't that highly touted coming out of high school, ended up going to the University of Central. 6'9" kid that can shoot the ball, can put the ball on the floor, is really good in help defense as well too. He reminds me a lot of Jonathan Isaac, but if Jonathan Isaac's body was ready for the NBA when it came in. I mean, he's a big kid, broad shoulders, huge arms, can really defend a lot of positions as well. The question is, does he provide you that rim protection that you really need? I don't know. I think there is a guy later on in the draft that they could get to as well too. But the Thompson twins will be very, very interesting to see where they go. Some dynamic playmakers, two twins that have never played on the same team or never not played on the same team. We'll see how they adapt to that and adapt to being in the NBA lifestyle after being in the G League as well. The one kid that I was curious about, and I want to get his name. Obviously, the Magic are looking at a couple guys, right? Grady Dick, Jordan Hawkins, the kid from UConn, spot-up shooter. They get that good three-point shooting to be brought in as well, too.
Sorry, what was that guy's? Good. What was that guy's name again?
Grady Dick.
Grady Dick.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing too that Magic fans are really hoping for, and that's that we get the side-by-side of Jalen Suggs and Grady Dick with just their last names, on each other, back to back, and let your imagination wonder when it comes to that. But I do really love Jordan Hawkins. He's 21 years old. He's really good off of ball screens, and I think that's something the Magic need. You have a guy like Gary Harris, you had Terrence Ross to go and play on your team this year, but we really missed a guy that was like that, and I think Jordan Hawkins is the go-to, although I wouldn't mind Grady Dick. if it does come down to it as well. Grady Dick, he's got all the talent in the world. Really can really stroke it from deep as well too. So let's make sure we keep an eye on him.
But can he handle the balls well though?
He handles the rock really, really well as well too. I'm looking for the kid from Duke. I forget his name. I want to say it's Lively. He's a 7'1" center that played for Duke. That really he blocked the most shots as a freshman in the history of Duke. Was really all over the place, and I feel like he can be gotten a little bit later on in the draft. He's not an offensive scorer whatsoever. I think he averaged like 6 points in college, but I think for what the Magic are looking for, you need a guy who can come in and play defense. I think that's a great option for them as well there. Other than that, it'll be fun to see. Well, I think there's going to be a lot of trades tomorrow in the draft. I think there's going to be a lot of things going down. The NBA's got a lot of moving parts, and a lot of teams are trying to get this in before that July 1st new CBA agreement kicks in, where a lot of the things that they're trying to do are going to be a little hamstrung. So
did the Bradley Beal trade, is that finalized yet?
It's not finalized yet. It's agreed to in parameters, but I think you'll see it finalized tomorrow when we get down to pick swaps, when we get down to players that are drafted. There's going to be more moving parts to it, I feel like. And there's a rumor that you're looking at a guy as well in Damian Lillard, who might possibly want out of Portland. He's been very heavily rumored to go to Miami. Does that happen? Does Zion Williamson and everything that he's going through right now? I don't know if you've seen any of the Zion Williamson stuff. Have you seen this?
Yes, that girl is nuts.
She's crazy. And so I was in a separate group discussion about this, and you haven't seen it. Zion Williamson hooked up with a porn star and basically told her that she was the one. And then, they've been together for a few months. Last week announces he's having his first child with the woman that he's been with for a while. She goes absolutely nuts on Twitter. She's basically like putting like voodoo on him and stuff.
It seems like
saying that she's going to release a sex tape of Zion Williamson, saying that the Pelicans need to trade Zion Williamson.
He doesn't belong in New Orleans. Doesn't deserve to be in New Orleans.
Doesn't deserve to be in New Orleans. All this other stuff.
Imagine sitting on a soapbox when you literally have sex for a living.
Who cares what somebody does? I'm not going to shame anybody for how they make money or what they do. It does not matter.
How are you going to stand on a soapbox and point the finger at somebody and say they don't deserve to be there because you had sex with someone and they decided to not be with you?
So, in my opinion, this is all a money grab and clout chase, right? Because if you look at her numbers, and this is what I've been told, but her numbers on certain sites have gone up as like most search people, like
of course,
are like she's gone from like 300 to like top 7 in like a week and a half, and she's just using it as clout, and that's why she keeps on hammering this point home, and really worrying about it. But there's rumors that Zion could be heading to a team like Portland. Would that make Damian Lillard happy enough to stay in Portland? You add a guy like Zion to that team to go along with Nurkic and some of these other people. How would that play out? It'd be very interesting to see.
Imagine being a Pelicans fan.
Be trading like the 3rd pick. Well, the Pelicans, listen, they have a great team on paper. They just
right, but you had Anthony Davis with that pick, the number 1 pick, whatever.
Paul.
Everybody was so happy. Chris Paul, Zion Williamson, and you're not going to have any of them at the end of the day.
Well, at the end of the day, you'll probably still have CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram and,
Okay, but I mean, CJ McCollum versus Zion Williamson. You know what I'm saying here. Like, that would be like, getting the number 1 pick all the time, like getting Shaq and then losing him right away. Then somebody else losing him right away. Like Penny Hardaway losing him right away. Dwight Howard losing him right away. It's got to be tough. It's
actually not that tough, to be honest with you. Sometimes you get generational guys. Sometimes they're not happy and they want to move on, and that's fine.
Has anybody been happy in Orlando?
Yeah, me for a long time now. Absolutely.
Not you. I'm talking about a superstar. Has a superstar ever been happy here?
Oh, most of them still live here, actually. So it's tough to say that they're not happy.
Like who?
Maybe they don't like playing for the organization, but
who still lives here?
All of them.
What do you mean all of them?
All of them.
Shaq lives in Atlanta.
Well, he just sold his house recently.
It's been on the market for 3 years.
So?
He's been gone for over 3 years.
He stated he wanted to be the chief of police at Windermere.
Is he though?
He's not, but that was one of the reasons that he got his, honorary detective certification or whatever it was because of that.
It wasn't even in this county. It wasn't even in Orange County.
What do you? I understand that, but he stated he wanted to be the chief of police at Windermere.
Okay.
He said that he wanted to buy the Magic if they were ever up for sale. He stated multiple times that if he could change his career, he would stay in Orlando his entire career.
Then why move to Atlanta?
Well, that's kind of where he does his business and his work. So.
Correct. Who else is still here?
Vooch is still here. Vooch's kids still go to Bay Meadows. TJ can vouch for this.
I don't know if I put him on the superstar status, but I get what your point.
I mean, he was. I'm saying he's somebody who was here, who got traded.
I'm not. I think you're going the wrong way here. I'm not talking about this as a dig. I genuinely want to know who I need to be on the lookout for. I know Devin Hester still lives here.
It seems like a lot of people still live here. Griffey still lives here. Griffey's always lived here. Right there off the Butler chain. Yeah, I don't know. Orlando's a great place to live. Beautiful.
Barry Larkin. It is a nice place to live. All right. So, what's your biggest surprise tonight? What's going to be the biggest bombshell that drops in the NBA draft tonight?
Tomorrow.
I
think Damian Lillard gets traded tomorrow.
Interesting. All right. Moving on. We got the NFL. We got DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook apparently looking to collab. I know that Cook was wanting to go down to Miami, which we're going to touch a little bit on Miami here in a second. But wait, I know you dropped this in the pre-show here. I didn't see anything about this, nor did I see anything in regards to where they were looking at going. So can you enlighten me on that?
Dalvin was on Adam Schefter's podcast, and he said that it would be really cool for him and D-Hop to be able to team up with each other and be on the same team. Obviously, that's just kind of a pipe dream, something that you would hope for, not necessarily something that's going to happen. But then you start looking and saying, okay, well, where could they both go? Where could they both end up? Who has cap space to be able to do something like this, and who can make this happen? The answer is not a lot of places have cap space to be able to do this. There's a small thought that maybe you'd be able to work it out somehow in Dallas. If you were to able to move off of Michael Gallup in some way, bring in D-Hop there, have Dalvin Cook to be a two-headed monster with Tony Pollard. Dallas has pretty much said that they're going all in. You can see if things don't go well for Mike McCarthy this year, I could see him being out. So I could see this as a chips all in desperation play as well too. DeAndre Hopkins posted he was in New York yesterday, so there was the thought that maybe DeAndre Hopkins was thinking about going to the Jets. The team up with Aaron Rodgers. You bring in Dalvin Cook to back up Breece Hall, who is coming off the ACL. You don't know how he's going to react to that. Who knows? I know that DeAndre Hopkins has met with the Titans and he's met with the Patriots already. I know that he wants stability, and I know he wants an organization that is going to have the same GM, but he also wants to play with a good quarterback. And I don't know how committed the Patriots are going to be to Mac Jones, and frankly, how committed the Titans are to Ryan Tannehill for him to go to either of those spots. I know both of them are interested. I don't see D-Hop as a really cold weather player like that, wanting to grind and get dirty out there. But
the Titans just drafted a quarterback, correct?
Well, they drafted Will Levis.
Yeah, they just drafted him.
But I don't know, dude. I feel like you'd want to go somewhere a little bit more established with a quarterback that's more established in the organization.
It'll be interesting to see where they go. Honestly, the Dalvin Cook thing, I as we talked about a little bit, I can see how he hasn't really locked in a team yet. But the DeAndre Hopkins, to me, I would have thought there would have been a lot of people jumping all over him. I'm gonna say he's still one of the top 5 wide receivers. Obviously, he had the PED issue, missed a few games there, but outside of that, I don't remember him really being a lot of injury prone, missing a lot of games due to that. Okay, did you hear that?
No.
Oh, okay.
What was it?
I don't know. Sounded like an alien aircraft landing outside my window. But I'm really surprised with the demands of the wide receiver and the emphasis that's put on that position, that we don't have a clear landing spot for him at this point. I realize that it is a high salary contract, which nobody wants to take on, especially towards the end of the career. But on the same token, I just can't find it. Excuse me, I find it hard to believe that nobody's jumped out on him yet and even made an offer that we know of. So, that one to me is a little bit. Dalvin Cook, I don't know. I don't know where he's going. Unfortunately, the league kind of, views the running back position as a dime a dozen, as we kind of talked about a little bit. The production value that you can get off of a rookie contract versus an established guy. in the money difference, the NFL just doesn't seem to value. So there's definitely a few landing spots. I know he wants to go down to Miami with those guys down there. That would be a great addition. But I just don't know how much they're going to be willing to pay on that as well. I don't think the Vikings are on the hook for any of his contract, right?
I could see him Miami. I could see him Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville would be an interesting landing spot as well. I don't know. Did Jacksonville sign a running back or draft a running back?
No, they have.
I know they have Etienne, but I don't view Etienne as a guy who is between the tackles every down running back. I think Etienne is best used in those scat back positions and places where you can get him outside the tackles and kind of use his speed to his advantage, and maybe in a rotation as well too, where you have them rotating and you never know who's getting the ball, who's going out for a pass. Dalvin did catch some passes while he was in Minnesota as well. But Minnesota, to me, it's just a weird move. I don't understand moving off of Dalvin, turning it all over to Alexander Mattison, and then letting Kirk Cousins go with no Adam Thielen. And
they're doing a lot of weird stuff over there. Honestly, if anybody was, the one to go, I think it had to be Kirk Cousins. I mean, you've had him for forever. The guy is a great mediocre quarterback. And I say that with all respect. I mean, he's a great mediocre quarterback. He just hasn't gotten anything done.
Minnesota will be one of my biggest fades this year.
You know who's going to be one of my biggest wins is the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are going to come out this year and blow everyone's minds. Okay? We're going to go from worst to first. Worst to first.
I hope for your sake that is what happened. I really do. I think that
it would be nice to win a few games here and there. Well, Tyreek Hill, speaking of Miami, apparently doing his best Will Smith impersonation, but from the backside, as he apparently smacked a marina employee in the back of the head, is now charged with assault. Was it assault, Jeremy? And Jeremy also says he still has the receipt that Jeff said that the Packers will win the division. That assault, so a charge with assault and battery. I'd be happy to take that right now. I'll bet you $1,000 that the Packers do not win that division.
First of all, we're in different tax brackets, okay?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
And we are not going to unit shame here on the Uninformed Fan.
We're talking about an 18-week schedule. 18-week schedule. All right? So 18 weeks.
One person's unit is a different size than another person's unit. It is not a big deal to.
We're talking about $58 a week is what we're talking about right here.
Okay.
So $1,000 for the season says that the Green Bay Packers do not win that division.
That would be a dumb bet for me to take.
Well, you said that they're going to win.
Okay. Who cares? But I can go in any sports book and probably get 5 or 6 to 1 on the odds. So why would I bet you straight up?
Because you said that they were going to win. How about this? I'll give you something a little bit better. How about this? I'll bet you $1,000 that the Bears
stop with the number.
Bears finish with a better record in the division than the Packers.
Hold on.
The Bears over the Packers. Bears over Packers.
Hold on. All right. So you would like to place a friendly wager.
Yes.
Right, a gentleman's friendly wager.
Yes.
That the Bears have a better record than the Packers this year.
Easy, Buffington. What?
I can't see. This is the issue. I can't see the comments.
He says nobody pays Tyson back anyways.
Wow. Me and CJ used to always joke around. We're like, we're really good at paying out. We're really bad at collecting.
That might get you a ban, Buffington. You might get banned from Gap Wedge Wednesday today.
You cannot ban Buffington.
I can do whatever I want.
Buff, text me if you're off today. I got an open spot at 1:30. Let me know.
So, Bears over Packers, a G. I'll give you a day to think about it. I'll give you to the next show to think about it.
All right.
Because I'm sure you're going to need to crunch some numbers over there.
Yeah, I also might need to crunch.
Jeremy says everyone's unit is different when by hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's like we were talking about. Like, I couldn't imagine that thing. Anyway.
All right, well, moving on.
We're going to get right into Gap Wedge Wednesday.
Moving on. So we're talking a little bit about, we're going to break down the Open. We've got the boys coming in here to talk about it. One of the things that we are going to talk about before we bring the boys in, and actually we could, Jeremy, if you want to bring them in, they can listen into this. That way, I don't know. It might get a little political for them. I don't know. I got a wonderful text from my good friend out in the universe that says, it's a copy of a tweet, and it says, it's from this dude named Will Bardwell. And we're going to talk about Wyndham Clark being a January 6th truther or nah. Apparently, he liked a tweet that said, indisputable photographic evidence that Antifa violently broke into Congress today to inflict harm and to do damage. Not Trump supporters. Do not be fooled. Trump supporters are peaceful. It was Antifa that created the violence in our cities over the past several months. So they're trying to cancel Mr. Wyndham Clark now because he might not agree with the entire January 6th narrative. And then I got this awesome text, right, that says, we need to figure out a way to cancel people who try to go out of their way to shit on other people's incredible accomplishments because they don't align with their political rhetoric. And to the person that sent this message and this tweet, I 100% agree with you. It's absolutely asinine that we live in the world that we do today. Just as we talked about a week ago, trying to cancel Nick Merckx because he said, leave the kids alone. And, they shot and they, as he put on his stream title, he finally came back Monday. They shot and they missed. Yeah. And I think he's had it on the past couple times. And, what are we doing here? Okay, guess what? Not everybody has to align with your views, okay? And if you're really going to try to cancel somebody in golf, I would venture to go out and say at least 85% of people that watch golf are Republican or lean to the Republican Party. I'm going to go 85%. So if you're out there trying to cancel and put out this truther or whatever that, he's a conspiracy, you're really barking up the wrong tree. Because I'm telling you what, there ain't nobody in golf that's turning on them because of something of this nature. Now, Jeff, I know that you have a little bit of say in this as well. Maybe not so eloquently as that text that was sent to me, but...
All right, whatever. So I was the one who sent the text, okay? Whatever. I was the one who sent it. It is what it is. I didn't know if I was going to be able to put my words together on this show as I did in that text and for what I meant to say. And that is that we're going to try to pick and choose what we want to align with or agree with or cancel somebody over based off of what we believe in personally, right? So but if we were to do this separately, let's say it came down to religion, right? And you believed in a different religion than I did, okay? And then we, tried to do the whole thing and you tried to cancel me because I believed in a different religion, then that would be different. But now you're talking about politics and you're bringing something into it. Who cares? Just let the person believe whatever they want to believe. You know what I mean?
But that's not acceptable in today's society, Jeffrey.
Which sucks, man. I hate that, and I feel bad for our society as well too. We should live in a dystopian society where it's it's much let people believe whatever they want to believe and leave them alone.
I mean, if you want to dig into all of this stuff and these tin fat conspiracy type theories, a lot of the stuff that they said about COVID came out to be correct. Never stopped the spread. They're still going after that. They're still going after the cancel culture as far as COVID related. If you didn't get the vaccine versus if you did get the vaccine, that's still happening. Even though the data has come out and said they were wrong, that this does cause things. It's just, could there be a possibility that there was actually people that were in the January 6th thing that were not truthfully there to do anything but cause trouble? Absolutely. I do, and that's why I'm saying it. Absolutely. Just like they've been at other riots, the BLM stuff, all of that stuff, there's fine that there's people that have been arrested at every single one of these things. Now, there'll be exactly, there's going to be more. So to sit there and say, well, he liked this tweet that said that Trump protesters are peaceful and that there was instigators in there that did other things. There's a lot of things that happened on January 6th. A lot of things that have been brought to light that didn't make sense. And the fact that if it doesn't make sense, that means that there should be questions asked. And the fact is that this tweet, this generation, this ideology that says there cannot be anything other than Trump supporters are evil, they're bigots, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, anti-USA, and they all want to burn down the country. So let's try to cancel his golf. What are you going to try to do? Take away the U.S. Open trophy? You really think that you think the Saudis are going to be like, whoa, oh, Wyndham Clark liked this tweet. We better get him out of our tour now. Absolutely not. Go home. Go back in your parents' basement. Go look through about 15 more years of tweets and see what else you can come up with and try to cancel somebody else. But to your point and what started this whole thing, there needs to be repercussions. There needs to be repercussions for people that try to blow whistles on other people and try to get them canceled because you don't see with their ideology. Here's the truthful thing about the world. It's not a good place. You're not going to see eye to eye with everyone. That's okay. It's okay. Respect the other person as a human. Say whatever you want to say behind closed doors about how you don't agree with it. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to move on, continue to breathe oxygen, and have life.
Speaking of life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, living here in the beautiful country of the United States of America, we just got off an amazing weekend. Obviously, the U.S. Open just happened, America's tournament. And with that, we're excited to bring in our Wedge Wednesday boys to recap the Open and also preview the travelers that we have going on this week. So welcome in Paul and Chad. Pleasure to have you in this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Paul, how's it going?
Good morning, fellas.
Chad, how we doing today? What's going on?
This is a standing ovation, in case you didn't notice.
It should be a standing ovation. Yeah.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Well done. This is time for your flowers. I want to give a big shout out to you guys, man.
Wyndham Clark,
and not only Wyndham Clark, but also Paul. Or I'll go with Chad first, because Chad, you were on Wyndham Clark, but for you guys both to, and I want to touch with Paul after this too. But Chad, first of all, tell me how did Sunday go? Obviously, you're holding the Wyndham Clark ticket. You're watching it down the stretch. What were the feelings going into that, and how did that day play out for you? And happy Father's Day as well too.
Thank you. It was a great day. I did a lot of family time. We went over to my wife's parents, spent some time with her father. Then we came home. I told her that she had a time limit because Daddy had to be home to watch the final round.
Heard.
Good thing it didn't start till 5:30, so we had some time over there. Then we had some ups and downs watching the tournament because Wyndham's never really never been a great major player. I mean, he's only been in 7 of them now, so but he showed his true grit, stuck it out there, made a lot of great shots to recover from some bad ones, and
unreal.
That's what it takes to win U.S. Opens,
Unreal, dude. Congratulations, man. A heck of a hit. Paul, are you there right now? Paul's not there right now. Paul is there. Cool, Paul. Hey, just a quick question for you, because we were talking about it, and obviously you have the Ricky ticket. Chad's got the Wyndham Clark ticket. You guys are both coming down the stretch, and you're both holding these huge, long shots that you have going on. What a great feeling to be there on Sunday and watch that unfold. And was it nerve-wracking at all coming down the stretch, and just you're basically just rooting against Rory at that point? And Scotty a little bit kind of creeping up, but what was that feeling like going in those last few holes and the pressure and everything that you were feeling there?
So it was really Wyndham versus Rory.
Yeah.
I think mostly all day. Ricky misses the, I don't know, what was it, a 4-footer in the twilight on Saturday.
Right.
Evening. It's Saturday night here on the East Coast, but sun's setting out there. Somebody in our group chat said he has sunglasses on, making that putt. They unfortunately for Ricky, those are prescription glasses, so he could not take off the sunglasses from what I'm understanding. Anyway, so he misses that putt, and then the first tee, he yanks one or pushes one over there into the rough, and that was pretty much it for Ricky on the day as far as what I was concerned. To have it, all right, so we touted Ricky a little bit in the show, mentioned him, but to have, Wyndham Clark up there and battling, and it was a good, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. Rory battled, had a little bit of a Patrick Reed moment there in the sand trap. Whether that ball was embedded or not, we'll really never know. But he got that drop, and that was cool.
What were your thoughts on that ruling itself? You know, as a golf fan, a guy who we try to golf as much as we can. We play by the rules when we do golf. You know, we're not out here taking mulligans and doing other stuff whenever we play. At least when we play with each other. You know, with Tyson's a little bit different, but you know, I always enjoy playing with you guys because it's strictly golf. But what were your thoughts on that ruling?
What?
I mean, I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm saying like when I if I don't play with Chad and Paul, I'll play like, listen, we'll give you one mulligan per side off the tee. You know what I mean? No problem. Whatever. You know, you want a little foot wedge here? I don't care. I'm not like playing like you know, like traditional. Everything is by the rule. It crossed here. You need to drop here. This stake, whatever. Blah blah blah. When I play with Paul and Chad, everything is completely by the book. So that's why I'm asking them about their ruling and what. Paul, what did you think about the ruling, about the ball being embedded, and then where he was able to place the ball?
I guess I made the Patrick Reed comment a little tongue in cheek. I assume with the USGA member there, the ruled official, Rory's usually above board. I don't know. I'm sure it was fine, and I'm not a rules expert. We like to get as close to when we play. There's normally like, you know, we're playing for like a dozen cookies or like a box of donuts or something like that.
Maybe a 12-pack of beer or something.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah,
so there's something we're wagering on. We just like to make sure everybody's on a level playing field.
We don't know if the IRS is listening, so we're not going to really talk about some things.
Sure.
But I will be keeping an eye on embedded balls going forward for when we are playing matches as well too. Anyway, guys, congratulations! What a hit on the U.S. Open. Absolutely incredible. You know, the story I was talking with Paul a little bit. Chad, how did this work? So I heard you guys were on the phone until 5:30 in the morning the night before, still figuring things out, crunching numbers, putting in picks. When did you finally pull that last trigger on Wyndham Clark, and what was the thought process going through that, Chad?
Well, you know, guys, I work kind of late, so
yes,
yeah, me and Paul don't get to talk as much as we used to back in the day. But yeah, we started talking after I got out of work, and I went back and looked at the when I placed it, and it was 5:20 a.m. on the Thursday before they teed off. That I put that ticket in. I'm like, Jesus, I was up that late. Then you know it's a Wednesday night / Thursday morning before golf, so I'm usually always up late that day. And yeah, we were just talking, and he reminded me. I said Wyndham Clark, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put him in.
Yeah, I think it was actually literally the first name out of your mouth was Wyndham Clark.
Oh yeah,
on the podcast last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Literally, like the first name you said was Wyndham Clark, and it's just incredible. You guys have been on such an amazing run. Really and truly, I'm happy for you guys and your success and this run that you've gone on, and look forward to more and more winners going forward as well too.
Hopefully, that's what we can do for you.
Absolutely. And speaking of winners, we are moving on from the U.S. Open. We will close that chapter. Tyson, anything you got for the boys before we move on from that?
No, just a great hit. You know, shout out to Jeremy for telling me to put my picks in. You know, obviously, like I said, I was rolling with the other two guys, I guess, that were there. It was sad to see Ricky kind of implode on Sunday there. There was a lot of a chat between, I do believe it was Wyndham and Rory, about the tee times and the fact that, you know, that they were basically playing in the dark on Saturday. And to your point, you know, those being prescription sunglasses, Ricky not being able to take those off. I thought that was a little, you know, obviously when you're watching on television, it lightens everything up. You don't really get the full experience of how dark it was. But I thought that was pretty unfortunate. And then I did want to kind of get your take. We talked a little bit about it on Monday, about your thoughts on allowing the crowd up the 18th hole and surrounding the 18th hole, and kind of the cluster that it caused there at the end. You know, there at the end, Ricky was actually hitting his shots while it seemed like there was a lot of noise going on. How did you guys feel about that portion of it?
I don't.
Go ahead, Paul. No, you got it.
Oh, that's my bad. We'll start with Paul.
I'm not a big. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, so I am. Anybody who's played golf with me knows I'm anti-crowd noise. I'm anti-movement. I I basically
You're
need
anti-life.
I need silence. So I don't enjoy the yelling after tee shots. I'm not into the creativity of mashed potato, baba booey, let it snow, any of that. I think these guys are playing for so much money. Every putt is, that last day, Tommy Fleetwood is going for the, to tie the course record, misses that 4-foot, 5-foot putt, and might have been the difference of $130,000 on that one putt. So anything can swing one way or the other. It looked like Wyndham Clark's last tee shot, somebody maybe had said something. I don't know if that was just nerves or if he just Mito Pereira wiped one right, and because that fairway is so wide, he got bailed out for it. I don't know. I don't know if somebody yelled something, said something, a camera went off, whatever it is. But the precision with players have to play across any of these tours. To be distracted or intentionally distracted by somebody in the crowd is criminal, in my opinion.
So you're definitely anti-18 surrounding.
I think so one of the all-time greatest, things we've ever seen. Maybe I'm misremembering, but it was a tour championship that Tiger won, right?
Yeah.
And
it was Tiger and Rory walking up.
And
right,
he and Rory are walking down, and Rory is basically shouldering off one after another.
Yeah.
And to see that stuff it's great. It's historic. It's awesome to see. It's that kind of thing. But to have to hit a golf shot under those conditions is daunting.
Yeah, I always was amazed by the ones that hit the golf shots out of the the right hand side or whatever. They're basically shooting right up through a tunnel of people. And the fact that they don't get hit. So, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Kind of remember me the old Bobby Jones and the old U.S. Open, the old nostalgia. But like I was talking to Jeff before, there was a different respect back then, in that time, in that age. It was a completely different type of respect. But, yeah, I don't think
100%.
Chad, what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of the whole mobbing the 18th green. I mean, they did keep them about 50 yards away, but I mean, it does bring in a very it's very easy for someone to like yell out some stupid shit right when someone's about to putt. Like if they would have done something before Wyndham Clark hit that putt, it's just not. I don't think it's cool, but
I mean, I feel like anybody can say anything at any time, though.
I mean, they're close.
The only thing I would have, the only thing I would have changed about it is I think maybe after they tee off, right? After they tee off, you bring the guys with the ropes, everybody holding the ropes, them right in front of you, and you allow that mass to kind of build up instead of doing it when they're on the green.
Yeah.
And then they're like walking up, they're like on the green, and then you drop the rope and let them all run up. Like
there was no rope.
Swarm. Exactly.
They were just holding their arms out.
Up. Like, no, don't go. It's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like I remember they did this at Bay Hill where they had people with a rope and they would all walk together like in unison, and that was where you were walking up with them. So maybe if it was more of a build up as opposed to everybody rushing the green at one time, it would have. And it's also what we perceive as well, watching it on TV. So
I don't know if you also saw that we talked about it on Monday. There was only 9,000 general admission tickets, tickets for this event.
So that was probably literally all of them right there.
Yeah,
that was all the GA pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Around the ground. So
what a tournament, what a hit, boys. When I sent that out, Wyndham Clark, nobody likes you. I didn't realize. I thought it was just whoever had that the pick in the pool. I knew it wasn't either one of you guys, so I was like, you know what, screw this. Nobody likes you. I got Ricky ready to go. I got Rory right there. I'm like, one of these two has got to win this thing, right? Nope. Here he comes. And then I put it out there that it's over, which I really did think it was over. There was no trolling. And then at the end, after you told me that you actually had a ticket, I was like, oh shit! Like, come on, man, don't do this. I'll never hear the end of it. But like I told Jeff, I'm taking the TJ approach moving forward. Like I'm done with that. His line is always, "Do you really think anything I say has anything to do with what's happening on that course?" So that's where I'm going. But great hit, guys. Continue each and every week. Now we look forward to, apparently this is an elevated event, which, whatever, I did not know that. So I'm interested to hear the juicy details of the Travelers here.
Yeah, Paul, what are we looking at this week?
So we are going to Cromwell, Connecticut. So the fact that it's an elevated event after a major, we've done this twice now, I don't love that. We talked about it the last time. These guys just come off a major, huge test of golf, and now they're required to be at another one of these events. But, wow, they're playing for $20 million again. So tough life. You got to go play golf 4 more days.
Yeah.
But they're up in Cromwell, Connecticut. This is a long-standing event. It's the Hartford Open for a long time. It's Travelers Championship, Cromwell, Connecticut. It's a par 70. 6,852 yards, 6 smallest greens on tour at 5,000 square feet. That's going to be on POA grass with a bent base. So similar to what we saw in Canada, the Canadian Open, and some of the other events that we talked about 2 weeks ago for the Canadian Open as well. So shorter course, par 70, 2 par 5s. That's a good one.
2 par 5s. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
What are we, Chad? Anybody that we like this week? What's the formula that we're putting in? Are we looking at strokes gained, off the tee? Are we looking at approach? What are we kind of vibing with here this week?
We are looking at some trends that we found. Was the last 4 years is that the strokes gained off the strokes gained tee to green and strokes gained approach, and that's the last round they played. So some guys it was U.S. Open, some guys it was Canadian Open if they didn't play in the U.S. Open. Their strokes gained approach and tee to green, if they're in the top 20 in those combined, and they finished in the top 20 of their last event that they played. The last 4 years, you found a winner. They've all done that. This is like a birdie fest, but no one's gone under 20. Under 20 under. They've averaged about 16 under the last 18 years. And ironically, there's only been 3 non-Americans that have won in the last 27 years. And just to prove it's a birdie fest, this is also where Furyk shot his 58 in 2016. And for some reason, Connecticut loves their golf because it's the second most attended, other than the Phoenix Open or the WM, whatever it's called now. So we're going to be looking at a certain group of guys, with Paul saying like it was under 7,200. These short guys have a chance to come in. And I'm going to be looking at a lot of the same names as the Canadian Open because it's a very correlating course. So your Aaron Rise, your CT Pans, those type of guys that don't hit it as far, but they hit it straight and they have great approach games. So those are the kind of guys I'd be looking at this week.
So putting isn't as, putting is always going to be a big deal every single tournament that you play, but is putting as big of a deal on this course, or is it, more, you said it's just basically going to be tee to green is what we're looking at here. Is that correct, Chad?
Well, the thing with putting is you can get a hot putter one weekend and, you can lose it the next weekend, just look at Scotty Scheffler. What we talked about the two weeks before, he lost 15 strokes putting to the field, but then this week against the U.S. Open, he gained 2. So it was just a 17 strokes difference in one weekend, So that's the thing is if you have a hot putter, you're going to be hard to beat no matter what, as long as you're getting there. And with the proximity being the approach range being from 125 to 175, that's wedges for a lot of guys, so they're going to be able to stick it close.
Beautiful. Paul, anybody that we like that fits that formula? I know Chad mentioned Rye, CT Pan, a couple of those guys. Paul, anybody that you're targeting this week that you're looking at?
Top of the board, it's a broken record, but if Scotty can putt, over the course of the last 24 rounds in the strokes gained metrics, the only one that he's not first or second in is short game, which includes putting. Putting, he is 133rd in the field. In strokes gained tee to green, 1. Ball striking, 1. Off the tee, 1. Approach, 1. Around the green, 2. And short game, 59. So his around the green, the strokes gained short game is anything from 30 yards and in. So that's around the green and putting.
Right.
He's number 2 in the field in around the green, and he's 59th in short game. That's how bad his putting is lately. So if he putts, again, if he putts the field average and he continues to do what he does historically, tee to green, nobody can beat him. But like I said last week, I am going to be late on Scotty Scheffler. He's going to have to show me he can putt in a championship manner. I think Colin Morikawa is a guy who maybe toward the top of the board fits this profile. Again, putting's terrible. He has recently taken on a putting coach. You're going to see that. Hideki is a guy, and Ricky. Those two guys near the top, I would say I'm looking at.
Are you worried about
something near the top? Oh, go ahead. What's up?
Just are you worried about any of these guys who, is this like maybe a myth, like the guys who were in contention at a big tournament like the Open, having a letdown coming out of the gates and going into a tournament that's all the way across the country now?
So it's interesting you say that, because in 2019, Ches Reavie contended for the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, where Gary Woodland won. And then he traveled across the country and finished first at the Travelers. So sometimes it's taxing. For example, Augusta, tough walk. That's a taxing week. It's long, it's hilly, it's this, it's that, it's the other. But we're not talking about these guys riding a Greyhound bus from California to Connecticut. They're getting on either a charter or a PJ. And, they've got the best teams in the world. So talk about Ricky. Ricky's been doing it a long time. Ricky ain't broke. He's going to fly in style. He's got the best team around him for recovery. He's got the best team around him for nutrition. And he's a pro. These guys aren't. Am I back in Wyndham Clark this week? No, probably not.
Yeah.
Winning the U.S. Open and having the super high of your first major and everything emotionally that he went through, that's different. But everybody else from 2 on down, whether they made the cut, missed the cut, whatever, these guys are professional golfers. This is what they do for a living. So if they can't get up and be ready for their next, job, then that's on them.
I think there a lot of mental plays into it as well too, and I loved Ricky's comments after the round. He was just kind of like, "Listen, I got off chilling with my daughter. She doesn't care if I shoot 85 or 65. Does not matter to her." So, little perspective at the end of the day, I think, does a lot for these guys as they get older and as they maybe don't hone in on, man, I played a bad round, that final round of the U.S. Open and lost. Instead of hammering on that, it's like Ricky's going home, seeing his family, letting that shit go, and then kind of moving on to the next.
Well, at the end of the day, they're still cashing a pretty big paycheck. I mean, it doesn't suffice the thrill of winning, but when you look at Ricky's struggles over the past few years and his recent surges this year, I don't know how he can think of it as anything other than a win.
Tyson, do you think though that winning matters more than money to them?
Yeah, but I think a nice big old chunk of change is a nice little subsidiary, considering that he hasn't done much over the past few years anyway. And, he's, as Paul, I do believe as Paul was saying, sometimes I get these voices confused, obviously towards the end when we're allowing jokes, and I think it's Paul, a.k.a. Chad. But he does have a good chunk of money. But however, he hasn't brought a whole lot in over the past few years. So I do believe this year and this success that he's having is completely rejuvenating. And yes, I would love to win the U.S. Open and win whatever $3 million or whatever it was. But I'll take an $800,000 paycheck just the same and say, you know what, I'll get him next time. And I'll go play with my daughter and make sure that her Harvard fund is completely covered. Yes, I'd be okay with that.
Fair enough. Chad, so Paul mentioned a few names in Hideki and Ricky and in Scotty, Colin Morikawa as well, too. Is there anybody that you like at the top of the board and maybe the middle of the board in that kind of sweet spot that seems to hit for you guys a lot right there in the middle?
I'll just go over. I'm gonna have to probably get my full top, mid, bottom all out of the way. I got some things going. I got Paul issues over here today. I got my child today, so we flopped it around this week.
Nice. Good for you. Flopping it around.
Yeah, there we go. So he mentioned Morikawa. We talked about him. I do like Morikawa this week. I'll probably be on him.
What's the number on him?
My number I've got on him is 20.
Okay.
It's not great, but I mean, they know this is more his type of course than, a shorter course is going to be easier for him with his approach game. And like he said, he found that he's got a putting coach now, so maybe that'll help him out, and he can sink some putts because he's got that same issue about not being able to make putts. Can we consider Fleetwood a top guy now? Like his number's gotten down to 25, but he's playing so well right now that
playing great.
He's got like 5 out of his last 6 events he played at top 20s. So, and 3 of those are top 5s. So he's on fire right now. He's due on the PGA also. Like,
yeah.
If you talk about him over in Europe, everyone talks about how great of a golfer he is. And then over here, it's like he's nothing. But he is always showing up for majors, it seems like, and he's playing really well right now. If you're going to go down the board a little bit, I would look at someone like a Russell Henley. He's got a great approach game. He hits the ball straight off the tee. Usually never puts himself in trouble. So he's one that you can look at. And maybe I don't really have anyone until I jump to long shots, because I'm looking at guys that are going to get me some top 10s, top 20s, possibly pull out a win, be miraculous. And I'm looking at guys, like I said earlier, that did well at the RBC, because the short course, put the ball in the fairway certain spots, then hit your approach from 125 to 175, put it in your range. That way you know what you're hitting. And I'm looking at some guys like Aaron Rai, like I said earlier, CT Pan. They're 125, 225 to 1 respectively. Nice. Another one, 2 more I would go take a shot on that I have a lot of confidence in. It's going to be Austin Eckroat and Mark Hubbard. Both of them have been playing very well lately. They're I know Hubbard is a short course guy. He's done I think the last 3 short courses he played on, the worst he was 11th, and 2 of them were top 5s, I believe. So I'm going to be backing them. I don't really know too much about Eckroat, so I'm just following the numbers on him.
He just fits the model.
It's just funny. Yeah, just funny he said that. So as you can see, Jeffrey, I've been kind of looking down here because obviously I don't get my picks in very often.
Yeah, you're doing your picks.
Yeah, so I did my picks, and my number 9th pick was Mark Hubbard.
Perfect.
We were on the same page.
So you've been
brother.
listening.
Yes.
Actually, the pick was in before you said that. The pick was in before you said that. I liked it. I look at a lot of the, and one of the things you guys were talking about as far as Colin Morikawa, which I was just looking at him, is he hasn't done very well at this event. And he hasn't even played in the last few years. So I was kind of curious of why you guys think that what's changed in his game now that's going to give him that success. I see where he's missed the cut. And then I think the other one, he was in like 45th or something place. I can't remember exactly what it was. But what do you guys feel has changed in his game that's going to allow him to succeed this week, where he typically, based on the stats, hasn't done very well at this course or this tournament?
He's got more knowledge of the course, obviously, now than he did before. His tee to green numbers have been rising the last 3 events, and those were all hard events. It was the PGA. Charles Schwab's not that hard, but it's a shorter course. It's a corollary to this one. And then the U.S. Open. And his strokes gained, tee to green, and approach the last 3 weeks that he's played have all gone up. It was 5.3, 5.8, 7.2 strokes tee to green. And then it was 3.2, 4.5, 5.5 strokes gained approach.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the
So-
Memorial where he had to withdraw, I mean, he's definitely pretty good, hovering right around that top 25. I was just curious, like I said, 2019 he was 36, 2020 he missed the cut, and that's the last one he played. So for those of you that were looking at Callum Morikawa following up on the boys, there is your reasoning for why he is going to do better than he has traditionally in the past.
Paul, we're looking middle to long shots. Anybody you got for us that Chad didn't mention?
Yeah, I would say in the long shot range, I always end up back on Christian Bezadenhout. I don't have a ton of confidence in him, but I'm probably gonna waste a pick or a bet.
Never even heard of his name till now. I see him there.
Yeah, he's an approach and putting guy. He's a short course guy. He's similar to what Kevin Kisner was for like 2 years. Just short course specialist, approaches and putting. He just hasn't put it together. He's like an Emiliano Grillo who just won, and I said that as bad as you possibly can. But I guess middle, I'll go back to Denny McCarthy. Great putter, short hitter. Yeah, those would be two guys I'd be looking at.
Any so my what about this week is I got two. So Ches Reavie has obviously won this tournament before. What about Ches Reavie? And also as more of a guy at the top, is Jordan Spieth playing this week?
That's a
No.
good question.
Justin
is not
Thomas
playing this
is, but Jordan Spieth is not.
JT has just jumped the shark. I don't understand what's going on with his game right now, but I pray for him because I love him.
He's having issues in the bedroom.
I'm not really sure what's going on. Let's not start that.
Oh, boy.
Okay?
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm telling you. I'm telling
let's
you.
not do that.
Look at 10 Cup. What happened when he got the girl? Boom, everything changed. I'm telling you. Golf is mental, and a lot of it revolves around that part of the life.
Interesting. Paul, what about a guy like Ches Reavie this week?
Sure. Profile. I can't talk too bad about him. Just from the rafters, Chad wanted me to remind you of Keegan Bradley, who plays well here.
Yeah.
Eric Cole, who's been on a tear recently, and Siwoo Kim, who's a Pete Dye specialist. Let me see what Reavie's been up to.
Any of the, Canadian boys, I feel like for some reason are going to play well. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that Canadian cats are going to show up.
They also just said, Jeffrey, that no internationals won except for like 3 times at this course, at this tournament.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
See, Tyson's listening today.
I'm listening.
I
too.
listen every day. I just
Love
forget. Just when I hit the end stream button, then I go deal with my life. It just
Yeah. I had to,
something else happens. It goes in there, and golf oozes out that air. It's just the way it
Yeah,
is.
that's
There's only
fly right
there's only
there.
so much space in there.
Paul, are you a Gator fan by any chance? I was just curious. I saw you throw up a Gator emoji in the chat the other day.
So, do we want to get into this real quick? I am from Rhode
Oh,
Island.
Jesus.
I know.
Okay. So, as far as
Billy Donovan?
college football goes,
Urban
there
Meyer
isn't
lover.
not too much to speak of in the New England area. Okay. So I come down in the late 90s and go to school at Stetson University, and through
Matters.
fortune and luck and connections, I happen to meet Emmett Smith and a guy who played football with him, was his fullback at Florida. Get some tickets, and I went to the Tennessee Gator game that year. Peyton Manning was the quarterback for Tennessee, and I went to see the first college football game of any kind of meaning in my life. And going to the Swamp and seeing that game, I kind of adopted the Gators.
Cool.
My wife is a Gator. Her family's Gators.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got other family that's Gators. So when it comes down to it, if I have to, pick an allegiance to a college football, plus I think SEC football is, NFL light, and everything else is like good luck. But yeah, so I would say Gators, and then my father-in-law is a is a big Gator backer, so I've been watching the baseball. We watched some of the Gator baseball. So yes, as far as college sports go, I back the Gators until there's somebody I like better.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. And listen, this also brings it back. Let's bring it back full circle, right? We can all be friends here and have different affiliations and respect other people's opinions when it comes to things. And, it's fine. We don't have to whatever.
Divisive is the word you're looking for.
Divisive. No, I was looking for something tribalistic, I guess. Was what I was looking for. Yeah, where
I don't agree with that.
Why?
Are we on Survivor?
Well, it's because the Seminole tribal. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to. You see what he's trying to go for here, as he's flipping us off while he's actually trying to do his mustache, but it's only his middle finger. It's just the subtle things that make Jeffrey wonderful to deal with. But yes, go Gators.
Yeah, no, because I know the Gators. They play at 2:00 today against TCU. TCU has to win 2 games to move on to the College World Series. I saw you put the Gator emoji in the chat the other day. I wasn't sure. I wanted to ask, and that was it. So I appreciate the response. Thank you.
That is true. TCU has to win 2 games. If Florida wins 1, we are playing for the championship. What a tremendous sports school outside of football. Well, I mean, what a tremendous sports school. Baseball national championships, gymnastics, women's volleyball, water polo. It's all there. It's all track and field, back-to-back national. God, why can't we get football? Why can't we just get the football program going? I don't know.
Bad rep nowadays, huh?
We gotta get a coach first.
And there a new Netflix thing coming out about how they.
Hey, we've been saying that for years.
No, they just announced it. It's coming out.
I know, but we've been saying, everyone has been saying that team needed a 30 for 30. They're finally doing it.
A murderer, a priest, and a racist walk into a bar, and they all say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
And then there's Urban. I am God.
It's still great to be a Florida Gator. Well, thank you very much, boys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys got anything else before we let you go?
You want Chad's last?
No.
What was it? Chad's last?
Chad's
no.
final thought.
No, we don't.
Yeah, I'm good.
Guys, congratulations on. Yeah, go ahead.
Enjoy your tea time today. I'm not gonna be able to make it though.
Thank you.
I see that you're ready to go.
Yeah,
he's
out the door.
He's got the wetsuit in the car.
I got my boy Nick Lee showing up actually, so I'm gonna see some 330-yard mashes today on the golf course. Should be a good time. Very emasculating.
That ball ain't running anywhere. That ball's plugging today.
No, it's plugging today. We're gonna be
maybe
CPO as well too. Maybe a long round.
Maybe you get some embedded rules, or maybe you can hit it behind the shot tracker and then drop it out of the complete line of the trees as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Good times. All right, boys.
Clean replace.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wonderful hit on the U.S. Open. Looking forward to the Travelers as well. Another great win. If you guys haven't followed him on Twitter, make sure you do so. GG's.
Appreciate it, boys.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
Later, Paul.
Thanks, gents. See ya.
Some great knowledge there, man. Like I said, I was really curious about that Colin Morikawa pick because obviously, that I just look at past performances. Like, have they been playing good in their past few tournaments? Do they play good on that course? Now, Colin Morikawa has played well over the past few weeks. He did, however, I think he missed a cut like two tournaments ago. I did want to look at this real quick.
Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie.
Oh no, the Memorial. He withdrew from the Memorial, but he had a couple top 25 finishes there. Yeah, so I'm very curious. I will be watching him very much so to see what happens there. I think that's gonna do it for us for today. Jeremy's typing. If he has anything else, I don't know. He said that he's locked out. He can't move him out. I don't. This dude's in shambles, bro.
Locked out of his apartment.
I don't. He's in shambles, bro. Like, this is our executive producer. Our executive
went outside to rip a dart during the middle of the show and locked himself out of his apartment.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go an hour without a cigarette. That's a problem. That's a problem, Jeremy. Even Jeff can go an hour. Jeff goes all day without a cigarette.
Yeah, I don't care. Ian chews nicotine patches at the table. It's crazy.
That's just disgusting, bro. Like, we gotta do better. We gotta do better with you three. We gotta get you guys off the cancer sticks.
I'm doing great, bro. I'm doing great.
You think so, but you don't know what's going on inside you. You don't know.
Do you know what's going on inside of you?
Yeah, I just got a CT scan to figure it out. I get to figure it out. I get to find out on Monday whether I'm going to live or die. It's going to be a very interesting day. Very interesting day. Monday's show is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to do it like it's the last one ever. Say la vie.
Can we do it where we like? So I would love to do it where we get like live test results on air. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Like, we set it up for like a grand reveal. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
And we have the stream up. You know what I mean? And we all read the results together. I think it'd be great content. Just throwing it out there.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Think about it. You have all weekend. There's no show on Friday. We're probably going to go down to just Mondays and Wednesdays going forward for a little while, just to, unless something big happens. You know what I mean?
I am going to start, and it would behoove you as well, possibly. I am going to start giving some insight into the Chicago Cubs. They're making an absolutely great run over the past few days. They swept the Baltimore Orioles. They swept the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they're the process.
That one hurt Sean Munson, didn't it? That one hurt.
No, I take that back. They lost the third game. They lost the third game. My apologies. And he almost did it. I don't know if you saw it, but he jinxed us again yesterday. We started Bradish. We did, our fantasy team. We have Bradish on our fantasy team. And I almost sat him against the Rays yesterday, just because every time we start a pitcher against the Rays, we get absolutely shelled. And when he tweeted that or sent it out, it was something like 5-0, right? And Bradish was just absolutely rolling. And he tweets that, or he puts that out there in the universe about how awesome they're doing. And they proceed to give up 5 runs in the next 2 innings.
Did you see what happened with Hader last night?
I did not.
Hader
I'm looking now.
Hader comes in for the save.
2 base on balls.
They let like Martinez throw, and then Hader comes in and literally like 2 walks in the game-winning run. Game over. He didn't get the L because the runners, he wasn't responsible for the runners.
I was gonna say, how did we not get the L?
But it's insane. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
There's nothing really you can do, Jeffrey. But we did end up squeaking out again another victory on the daily beat yesterday. We were up by 3 points, so that's good. That's good. And then
great job managing this team by yourself. I feel like you're a single parent household right now when it comes to our babies over here.
I didn't realize the games had already started. Holy macaroons. This is going to be a big one for us, though. We got 4 pitchers starting tonight. We got Perez, who's been very shaky, Darvish, who's been very shaky, Boyd, who has been very shaky, and the professor, who throws lob balls. So it's going to be this is going to make or break our week right here.
Your boy will be out and involved, hitting the golf links, but I'll be out at Disney Springs. So if anybody wants to say hello, come find me at Boathouse around 8:45 tonight. Can't wait.
8:45. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you back here again on Monday. Have a great weekend. Take care.